guys, welcome back to the channel where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Well, it's been a little bit of time since I covered sweet little Tommy Valva's case. And I never forget about him. I don't forget about any of these precious babies. And Tommy has definitely has made a mark on my heart, and I don't think I'll ever forget him. I never met him, but he definitely has a place in my heart. Now his mom, Justyna Zubko-Valva, she was supposed to have been finalizing her federal settlement against Suffolk County in Long Island, New York, this month. Well, that's fallen through at this point. There was a $9 million settlement allegedly, and I'm saying that for a reason, agreed to in the brutal freezing death of sweet 8-year-old Thomas Valva at the hands of his ex-NYPD officer dad. And again, that just fell right on the floor and cracked in a million pieces. She accused her own lawyers, her lawyer team, she accused them to the judge, which is Judge Edward Corman. She told the judge that they are guilty of misconduct for agreeing to this deal, and she has refused to sign off on any of this agreement with Suffolk County. And they apparently had last Friday a 2-hour court conference, and from what Newsday states, it was quite intense, and I believe it. The judge stated, and I quote, "I'm at a loss as what to do here." That's Judge Corman. And you know what? I think that's the perfect response, because I'm sure he walked in there last Friday and he thought, well, we have an agreement, we have a settlement, we just need to do some signatures, finalization, and we're done. She comes in there and says, yeah, that's not happening. So, to back things up, in 2022, when she originally filed this lawsuit against Suffolk County, she was asking for $200 million for failing to protect her son despite repeated complaints of abuse and neglect to Child Protective Services, or CPS. And now, of course, she's told them that $9 million wasn't enough to address the suffering that not only little Thomas suffered, but her family was subjected to as well. And I gotta say, I'm on her side. I agree. During the conference last Friday, Mama raised concerns that the terms of this deal had shifted. She told the court that she had previously been led to understand that she would receive most of the money, with smaller portions set aside for her surviving 2 sons' futures. But that's not the case. Because of attorney's fees, taxes, we all know that $9 million, that's not what she's going to be able to put in her bank account at the end of the day. She also told the judge that her attorneys, they forged her signature and prolonged the case for a higher cut in those aforementioned attorney's fees. Of course, they denied her claims of misconduct and forgery, and they told the court that they had repeatedly tried to meet with Justyna to finalize the paperwork, but she has been refusing to do so. I believe that completely, because she is a tough mama, and if she doesn't agree with something, she's not going to come and meet with you and sign something that she's not agreeing with. Now, this is the Lycas law firm. I could be saying her name wrong. They actually posted this successful win on their Instagram page. And they stated that they successfully secured a $9 million client settlement and systematic changes to protect New York children. Yeah, I don't think that that is what actually happened, guys. I think there's a long ways to go. And will this judge try to force mediation again? I don't know. I don't know what the next step is, but I know that Justyna and her family have been through a lot, a lot. And I don't blame her for holding out. The bottom line is Tommy's life is Tommy's life only worth $9 million? You got to ask that question out loud, because I did, and I'm doing it now. And just look at that face on the screen. Is that enough for the suffering and everything that Tommy went through, as well as his older brother? $9 million. I don't think so. This is CBS New York. This is from 5 years ago.
The 8-year-old boy inside the white casket with gold trim had been deprived of food, subjected to sleeping in an unheated garage as punishment, say police, for bedwetting, and it is alleged for failure to follow his NYPD father's strict directives. As Michael Valva and fiancée Angela Polina convinced courts to grant them sole custody, mother Justyna obtained audio of her 3 sons posting it on social media. Judges declined to enter this into evidence.
Who do you love? Who do you want to stay with? Who do you miss? Who do you want to live with? Mommy is mean. Mommy hits me. Mommy don't touch me.
This is how sick Michael Valva is. I'm going to say is because I'm sure he's not changed just because he's in prison. And his love there, Angela Polina, were to these children. And Angela has also daughters, so they also lived in that house. Now, they weren't forced to sleep in an unheated garage, but they were not treated very well either, from what we understand. But he had them saying this stuff so that it could be used against his ex-wife and their mother in custody hearings. That's right. Ex-NYPD cop. He is disgusting. Truly.
Child advocate groups back the authenticity of the tapes. Thomas and his brother Anthony were used as pawns, claims their mother, who recorded the children describing life with their father.
Your time out again. How long? 100 days. 100 days? Yes, and I can't go to sleep, and I can't eat breakfast, and I can't go to you.
Can you imagine? These are young elementary school age babies. They weren't fed, forced to sleep in a freezing garage, and it went all the way down to where they slept on the floor. They didn't even have mattresses or anything. And they would go to school. They were abused, and teachers and administrators would find these boys trying to eat out of the garbage cans, anything that they could find. Like I said before, the school tried. They tried hard to report this to CPS, get these boys help. But Suffolk County, well, they believed Michael Valva because, well, he's a New York City police officer. Why would he lie? Yeah.
We again asked Suffolk's Department of Social Services commissioner for a sit-down interview.
I'm not sure yet.
Frances Pierre, appointed less than a year ago, told members of a CPS task force she is unable to publicly discuss Thomas Valva's case, but said more workers will be hired.
So again, we're doing active recruiting. We're also working with civil service. We've really been doing a lot of work in ensuring that we're decreasing the caseload.
Lawmakers challenged the DSS commissioner. A big house with a cop dad does not mean a child is safe. She said CPS workers know not to judge a book by its cover.
You got that right. Just because he wears a badge doesn't mean he's a good father. It doesn't matter. And he wasn't. He was an awful, awful, awful father. And their almost step monster, she was also a horrible monster. Both of them disgusting. And they both, thank God, are serving out probably life sentences. I'm hoping it's going to be more than the 25. That 25 to life sentences they both got for what they did to Tommy, because he should have been still here thriving, but he's not.
Shame on all of them. They all should be fired and put in jail.
Passions running deep across Long Island communities demanding an unsparing review of the Department of Social Services, law enforcement, and judges who placed the 3 Valva children in the custody of their father, eventually accused of murdering his middle son, Thomas.
I want them removed from the bench. This is an emergency.
Despite years of documented abuse allegedly at the hands of NYPD officer Michael Valva and his fiancée Angela Polina, the court sided with the cop for custody over Thomas's Polish-American mother.
So again, this is CBS New York 2, and as you can see, this was one of the big protests they had 5 years ago for justice for Tommy and his family, and against the system that failed this boy. Because that's the bottom line. It failed Tommy and his brothers, and it put their lives in the hands of an abusive father and his fiancée,
who, without a lawyer, represented herself.
Thomas is just the beacon for all the other kids that have gone unheard.
Valva and Polina stand accused of forcing 8-year-old Thomas to sleep in an unheated garage when the outside temperature plunged to 19 degrees. The child died of hypothermia. Suffolk County executive is demanding a top-to-bottom review. We again asked for, but were denied an interview with Child Protective Services. Some are concerned about CPS spearheading an internal investigation.
I'd like to get the baseline facts, certainly no later than next week. Then we can determine how much further we need to go in terms of an investigation.
Meantime, lines of total strangers assembled to pay tribute to young Thomas, his wake being held amid deep emotion.
Please continue praying for my family.
An outpouring of love for a child they never met. His death, they pray, will spark change.
An unnecessary death, really unnecessary. And we need to find the money to hire more people to help children in need.
Mourners here agree there must be a review of family and Supreme Court judges. We asked for comment. They say they are unable due to pending litigation.
Yeah. Of course, they weren't going to comment at this time. There was a massive review done. There was like we heard, there was a massive hiring event done. Last I heard, they did make a decision about some things that need to be changed, but has it really changed to help these children? And I asked that question also in regards to the Harmony Montgomery situation. And these are the kind of cases that these babies should represent something that should never, well, first of all, it should have never happened. But now that it did happen, it should never happen again. But we are still hearing stories every single day of parents who should not have custody of their children, and they do, because a judge, somebody gave them the rights to have their kids in their home, and they either suffer greatly with massive abuse, or worse, they're murdered just like Harmony and little Tommy Valva. So, bringing this right back around, and this is one of my favorite pictures of Justyna and her three babes, her three boys. Tommy's there in the middle, kind of hidden below his mama's arm there. And that's his big brother, and that's his little brother in mama's lap. I have zero problem with her standing up. Again, I know $9 million to all of us sounds like a lot. But I have to ask, how much is a life worth? How much is Tommy's life worth? How about these other boys that were put in that situation? Thank God she still has two. But Tommy should have been here. He should have been here too. So how much is his life worth? 9 million? That's it? Is that... And again, it's not even $9 million that she gets to see loaded into her bank account. After all the fees, the lawyer fees, taxes, I don't know what New York's is. I haven't looked it up, but I know 30% I think is here in Florida. We all know it's not going to be even close to $9 million, at the end of the day. And even then, even if it goes down to like 5 or 6 million, $5 or $6 million for a child's life? No. Again, I completely fully support Justyna and these two boys, because justice is still being sought out for Tommy. And he in the end, he saved his brothers, but he also has become someone that CPS, Suffolk County CPS, this judicial system that handles family courts and family situations, they should take a look at this case, and it should be, this should never have happened. We need to make sure that each and every child in Suffolk County, of course you're furthering it out into Long Island and New York, but Suffolk County itself needs to look at little Tommy's face every time they need to make a decision when a child tells you, I'm not safe with my mom or with my dad. It's not always the same with every family. It's always different. But they need to listen to these children. They need to listen. Tommy spoke up. They didn't listen. Now his mama, she's doing everything that she can and everything that she knows to make sure that her sweet boy just not only has the justice, continues to get the justice he deserves, but that he's never forgotten. Alright guys, that's all I've got for this one. Please do check out my playlist in Tommy's case. I will post the link in the information of this video. Please do check it out if you are not familiar with the case. It's heartbreaking. I hope you have a great rest of the day, and most of all, stay safe.